Can you believe that this piece was created using mostly simple vertical straight stitches? This landscape is full of color and texture. It has abstract elements, it has a tree, and so much touchable texture. Join me today as I take a fabric collage and I add layers and layers of stitching. I'm going to show how you can use a repeating pattern of stitches to add unity, to add texture, to add depth. You don't need to know any fancy stitches. You just need to come in with an open mind and a willingness to add layers and layers of stitching. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. I'm starting today with a fabric collage that I created in a previous video on how to create a fabric collage. This was the second collage that I created. I'll link to that video so you can see the process of creating this collage. You can see in this clip that it was really a process of moving fabrics around, layering fabrics on top of each other, and having an open mind about the final result. This collage was created on a rectangular piece of felt that was about 4 inches by 5 inches. I used scraps from my stash and I just moved the pieces of fabric around until I came up with a design that I was happy with. And then I took the collage and I went to my stash of 6-stranded embroidery floss and I pulled colors that I thought went well with the various fabrics. So now that I have my collage and my floss, let's continue with this project. So for floss colors, I've chosen a darker and a lighter shade of the green, of the blue, and of this coral color. A good way to test out if the color's a good match is to unwind some of the floss and place it up against the fabric. This often is a better way to know if it's a match than looking at the full skein of floss altogether. So I can tell when I unwind these skeins that they are exactly the colors that I'm looking for. I want this blue to match in both the bottom area and the top area. And I want the same for the green. So now that I've got all my colors of floss chosen, I'm ready to begin stitching. I'm going to start this area with the striped fabric. I think I want to fold the corner over. This is an idea that I had in the moment when I looked at the way that fabric underneath was skinny and then wide. I thought it would be nice to do the same thing with the striped fabric. So I'm using 2 strands of this darker coral color and I'm creating straight stitches. And I'm using the stab stitch for this. And that means that I'm going from the front to the back and the back to the front. I'm holding the fabric down with my left hand, and so it's really easy and comfortable for me to stitch from the back to the front as I move my way along. I'm making my stitches uneven while they are vertical, and as I move along, I can switch to working on the front. So instead of taking a stitch from the front to the back, I'm stitching right through on the front, going in and coming out where I want my next stitch to be. And when I get to the end, I'm going to have a look at what I've done and decide if I want to come back and do another row, and I do. So I'm going to stitch in between the stitches that I made previously. So I'm going in where I want that stitch to be made and coming out ready to make the next stitch. Working on top like this is really comfortable and relaxing. It's a good way to make marks on a piece fairly quickly. And I'm liking the way that looks. So now I'm ready to start stitching on the other side of the strip. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Because I'm right at the end of my piece, I find it more comfortable to do the stab stitch here at the beginning. And then once I move in, I'm going to switch over to working right on the top. This is the same thing that I did along the top of the piece. I'm going to stitch all the way to the end, and then I'm going to turn and go back. So here's my first piece stitched. You can see those dark coral lines coming into that blue and green. and it's starting to add some nice texture. So now I'm going to stitch in green. I have 2 strands of green, and I'm going to stitch on the piece that's underneath, the piece that has this brown and beige and coral color. And I'm going to do the same stitch that I did previously. Vertical stitches. I'm going to catch both the green and this coral fabric. You can see that because this green is a very close match to the green behind it, there's not as much contrast. You can barely see those stitches that I made. So that's another option for stitching. Now I've gone back and forth several times. I've made that stitch heavier, so that tends to add more texture than it does a contrasting color. I'm going to continue with green along the bottom of that strip, and I'm going to do the same thing. So here you can see I've added more of that darker green color along the bottom, and that's added some more texture. Now I'm going to bring in blue. So I'm going to start with the blue that's slightly darker. And I'm going to use the same stitch pattern that I've been using, and I'm going to stitch this piece of sari silk. So I'm stitching partly into the blue and partly into the coral. So I'm mimicking the texture that's below. That's going to help unify the overall piece. So here I've added even more blue. I've done a running stitch. This time I've changed direction. I'm going horizontally, and I've moved that stitching up into that green area. These are light colors, so the effect is very subtle. Now I'm going to bring in the dark coral color that I had used previously, and I'm going to add some stitching over top of that green, and this is going to add some visual interest to contrast with the green stitching. I'm doing the same stitch pattern here, vertical stitching, and I'm placing these stitches a small distance apart to add nice distinct marks. So here's the results. You can see those lines going up into the green and over the stitching. That shows up much more, and it ties in with the stitching below. Now I'm going to bring in my lighter coral color, and I'm going to add some running stitch. I'm going to stitch over top the coral silk. So this is going to be texture because the color is fairly close. The other thing that's done is it has secured down the lower part of that strip. I'm going to add another row of running stitch, and I'm going to work back in the other direction. So to do that, I turn my work. I'm working on the top. I'm taking one stitch at a time because that's easier on my hand than stacking up a bunch of stitches. It's going to add less puckering, which is what I want here. Now I'm turning back to my darker green, and I want to add some grass-like texture in this green area that has no stitching. So I'm going to work vertically. I'm going to start angling these stitches. They're still going to be vertical, but they're going to lean from side to side, much like grass does. I'm going to work my way all across this area and cover it in these stitches. So here's my results. And now I'm going to bring in my lighter coral, and I'm going to bring the stitching down to meet the green that's already there. So I'm going to start on this right side. I'm going to take my stitches into that coral piece, but then I'm going to bring them down into the green. These are going to be the same type of vertical stitches. I'm not going to be concerned about making them the same size or making them straight. I'm going to let them angle like I did with the green stitches. And I'm going to bring it all the way down to meet that green stitching. So here's what it looks like when I filled in that entire area with that lighter coral. It's added a lot of texture, and it started to blend from one area to the next. So now I'm taking a look at my piece. I'm evaluating what it needs, and I've decided I'm going to bring in some more fabric. I have this piece of pale blue. This is cotton that's been dyed. It has a sort of mottled look to it. I'm going to fold over the edge, and I'm going to stitch it right to the top. So some of that blue is going to stick out above the top. I don't know if I want to leave that piece. The piece is big enough that I could have that all the way down. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to want. I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'm going to come in and stitch on this piece of blue. So I'm using my lighter blue floss. and I'm going to move from one side to the other and stitch, and this is going to attach this piece. I'm going to use the running stitch for this, and I'm going to stack up my stitches several at a time, pull it through, and that's going to attach the two pieces. And then I'm going to turn and go back in the other direction. So that's going to mean that top strip of green is going to be completely covered in these light blue stitches. So now that that blue fabric is secured, I'm taking a look at it and I've decided that I just want it to be at the top. So I'm going to cut away the excess fabric. So I'm bringing out my scissors and just snipping off the rest of that. And I'm going to look at my piece and I'm going to trim the sides. So I don't want that blue piece to be wider than what I have. So here's what it looks like. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to fray the ends of that blue fabric. And that's going to make it resemble the rest of the piece, where the edges are raw and frayed. Don't want it to look quite so crisp. So that's added a little something extra that I felt that it needed. Now I'm going to come in with my off-white color. This is the ecru, and I've pulled that color based on that beige that's in that coral piece. The ecru is actually a little bit lighter than that. I think it's going to be a nice contrast, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to stitch on that piece that has the coral and the brown and the beige, and I'm going to add some texture. I'm sticking with these vertical stitches, and that's going to add a consistency that I'm looking for in this piece. And I'm going to cover that area wherever the dark coral is. So here's my off-white stitching, covering those areas of the dark coral. I think that's blended everything together even more. Looking at the entire piece, I can see all of this texture. I feel like the colors are working really well together. I think I want to bring in one more color, and that is a brown. I pulled that color to match that darker brown that's in this lower piece. And so I'm going to add some stitching along the bottom in that color. So here are those vertical lines that I've added at the bottom of the stitching. And I think it needs one more thing to make it complete. I'm bringing out a tree. This is a template that is just the right size to fit on this piece. This template is part of my tree template set. It's a set of 7 different trees, and I've chosen this one today. It's one of the smaller ones in the set. Right now I'm thinking I like it over here on the left, but first I want to choose some fabric for it. So I could, of course, choose a white or off-white color because I like the way that that template looks, but I'm thinking about a green. So I have this batik fabric, and it has lots of shades of olive green, deep green, and even some teal colors. I feel like it's a nice match to the colors that are in this stitched piece. So I'm moving the fabric around and finding an area I think has nice colors for this. I found a spot that I think has the right combination of dark and light colors and the right shades of green. And the method that I'm going to use for this is the freezer paper technique. Freezer paper is often available at the grocery store in the area where you would find different types of food wraps. I think in the UK it's called butcher paper. One side of it is shiny and one side of it is matte. And the shiny side has a light coating of wax. So I've cut a small piece of freezer paper and I have a pencil. I'm going to place my template onto the matte side. Now this is a symmetrical template, so I don't need to worry about the orientation of it. Placing it on the matte side and I'm tracing it with a pencil. Then I'm going to cut it to a smaller size and I'm going to iron it right onto my fabric. So I put the shiny side down onto the fabric. I hit it with a dry iron and it will stick to the piece of fabric. And then I'm going to trim my fabric around the paper. I can save those pieces for later. And now I'm going to switch to paper scissors and I'm going to cut out this tree. There's lots of bumps and turns in cutting this out, so I'm going slowly and I'm turning the paper as I cut. I take my time and work my way around, and then when I'm done, the freezer paper peels away fairly easily from the fabric. These little pieces I'm going to save and use for another project. And now I have my tree. So now I just need to decide where I want to place it. And now that I see it in the green, I actually decide I want to put it on the other side. You could put it in the middle. You could put it to the left or the right, but I think I like it right here on the right. So now I just need to stitch it down. So I'm going to use a combination of my greens and some of my off-white color. I'm going to stitch right on the edges. I've decided for some more contrast, I'm going to bring an even darker green out. So I've pulled this very dark green and I'm going to stitch that along the edges. I've kind of followed the lines that I think the needles of the tree would follow with my stitching to try and mimic that tree shape. And then I've continued and added some of that same dark green color along the bottom. And that's going to help blend that tree into the piece and make it look like it's been there all along. So now that I have my tree on my landscape, I'm going to stitch the edges. You could leave these edges uneven and raw. I think that's a nice look. The other option is to fold under all the edges and stitch around. I'm using the blanket stitch and I'm tucking under these raw edges. I'm not trying to make straight sides. I like the idea of it being slightly uneven, but I think I want the edges of this fabric to be folded under. And I think using this dark green color around the edges is going to add a nice frame. So here's the first bit of stitching I've done along the edge. And I'm doing an evaluation. I've decided that I do like that color. It's adding the frame that I think this piece needs. The only part I'm unsure about is whether or not I want to add that stitching along the bottom. So instead of making that decision now, I'm going to do some stitching on all the other sides. So I've hopped over to the left side and I've begun my blanket stitching. I've gone along the side and I've started to go along the top, and I'm liking the way that that looks. I feel like I like the bottom unstitched, so I'm going to leave the bottom as is and continue the blanket stitching around the three sides. So here are my three sides stitched. It's pulled everything in, added a nice frame. So now I just need to add some final touches. I'm bringing back in this blue, and I think I want to add more of that in the top area. One option here would be to add some French knots for little dots of color, but I'm thinking because I've done all this vertical line stitching that maybe adding some solid areas in vertical lines might be just what's needed here. So here I've stitched many areas, little solid rectangular shapes in this blue. It's a similar look to what you would get with the French knot, but instead of being round, it has more of an angular shape. And it's just what I wanted here. So now I feel like this piece is complete. This piece was all about adding texture, and there's so much of it here. If you saw the beginning part where I began to make this, I had no idea where the stitching would take me, and I'm really happy with the result. So much touchable texture. This was a really fun project, and I hope it gives you ideas about stitching your own landscape full of color and texture. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, happy stitching.